TIFU by accidentally live streaming my therapy session to TikTok. So, I've been going through a bit of a rough patch lately, and finally decided to bite the bullet and start therapy, found a great therapist online, and we've been doing sessions via video call. I'm not the most tech-savvy person, but I figured out how to use Zoom for our sessions, and things were going relatively smoothly, until today. I had my usual therapy appointment scheduled for this afternoon. I was feeling particularly anxious this morning, so I decided to try one of those trendy, get ready with me videos on TikTok to distract myself. I set up my phone on a tripod, started recording, did my makeup, talked about my day, the usual TikTok fluff. Then, completely forgetting I was recording, I closed TikTok, opened Zoom, and joined my therapy session, all still recording. About halfway through my session, as I was getting into some really personal stuff about my childhood and relationship anxieties, my phone started buzzing like crazy. I ignored it at first, thinking it was just notifications, but it kept going. Finally, during a pause, I glanced at my phone screen and nearly had a heart attack. It was a flood of comments and live viewers on TikTok. Apparently, when I closed TikTok to open Zoom, I hadn't actually stopped the live stream. It just kept going, broadcasting my entire therapy session to whoever happened to be online at that moment. I immediately panicked, fumbled to end the live stream, and just stared at my therapist on Zoom, my face bright red. She looked understandably confused and concerned. I stammered out an explanation about accidentally live streaming to TikTok, and she just stared at me for a beat before bursting out laughing. Thank God she has a good sense of humor. She actually found the whole thing hilarious, said it was a very modern TIFU, and we spent the rest of the session, after I properly ended the live stream and double-checked everything, dissecting my tech illiteracy and anxiety about privacy. I still feel mortified though. Who knows how many people just witnessed my deepest, darkest secrets? I've deleted the video, obviously, and changed all my privacy settings on TikTok. Lesson learned, always double check you've actually stopped live streaming before starting therapy, and maybe, just maybe, I need to lay off the TikTok trends for a while, at least until my anxiety is under control. Seriously considering changing my therapist now out of sheer embarrassment, even though she was incredibly chill about it. The internet is forever, and so is my therapy session apparently. Oh my gosh, talk about a modern day privacy nightmare. But hey, at least the therapist had a sense of humor. If you want more tech fails and funny stories, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. TIFU by accidentally proposing to my girlfriend's mom. This happened last night and I'm still cringing so hard. I think I pulled something. My girlfriend Sarah and I have been together for 3 years, and I finally decided it was time to pop the question. I planned a romantic dinner at home, cooked her favorite meal, lit candles, the whole shebang. Sarah's parents are visiting this week and they were supposed to be out for the evening at a concert. Keyword, supposed to be. Everything was going perfectly. Dinner was delicious, we were laughing and reminiscing about our relationship. The mood was set. I excused myself to get dessert, which was actually the ring box hidden in the fridge. I came back, got down on one knee, and started my heartfelt speech about how much I love Sarah and want to spend my life with her. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the ring box, and opened it, ready for the big moment. Except when I looked up, it wasn't Sarah standing there. It was her mom, Carol. Apparently, Sarah and her dad had gone out to pick up ice cream, and Carol had come downstairs to see if we needed anything. She walked in just as I was getting down on one knee, completely misinterpreting the situation. And me, in my romantically charged, slightly nervous state, didn't even register that it wasn't Sarah until I was already mid-proposal, ring box open, staring directly at Carol. Her eyes widened, she gasped, and I realized my monumental mistake. My carefully rehearsed speech just died in my throat. There was this awful, silent beat of pure, unadulterated awkwardness. Carol, bless her heart, just stood there, frozen with this mixture of shock and confusion on her face. I quickly scrambled to my feet, shoved the ring box back in my pocket, and tried to explain. Carol, no, it's not like I thought you were Sarah. I'm proposing to Sarah, not you. It came out as a jumbled mess of panicked words. Carol, thankfully, is a very understanding woman. She started laughing a bit nervously at first, then full-on belly laughs. Oh my God, she wheezed. I really thought... She couldn't even finish her sentence. She was laughing so hard. Then Sarah and her dad walked in, ice cream in hand, and found me standing awkwardly in the living room. Carol still chuckling and a very confused look on my face. Explaining that situation was another level of cringe. Sarah, once she understood what happened, found it hilarious. Carol's gonna be telling this story at every family gathering for the rest of our lives. I just know it. I did eventually propose to Sarah, properly this time after her parents went to bed. She said yes, thankfully, but the image of me on one knee proposing to her mom will forever be burned into my brain. I'm pretty sure Carol is still chuckling about it this morning. At least it's a good story, right? Right? Please tell me this is a good story. I'm gonna go hide now. TIFU by using my vibrator as a back massager on a long haul flight. Okay, buckle up. This is a wild one. I just got off a 14-hour flight and I am mortified. So I have chronic back pain and long flights are absolute torture for me. I always try to bring things to make myself more comfortable. Neck pillow, lumbar support, the works. This time, in a moment of what can only be described as sleep-deprived packing genius, I thought, hey, my vibrator has different vibration settings. Maybe that would actually work as a back massager on the plane. Seemed like a brilliant idea at 3 a.m. when I was throwing things into my suitcase. Fast forward to hour 8 of the flight. My back is killing me. I'm squirming in my seat trying to find a comfortable position, and then I remember my brilliant vibrator massager idea. I discreetly rummage through my carry-on, pull out my massager. It's a pretty generic looking wand style one, thankfully, and subtly start using it against my lower back, discreetly tucked under my blanket. Oh my god, it was working wonders. The vibrations were actually hitting the spot, easing the tension. I was in heaven for about 10 minutes. Then turbulence hit. The plane started shaking, and in the midst of the bumps and jostling, my back massager slipped. Not just slipped a little, slipped out from under my blanket, rolled down my leg, and landed with a very audible thud in the aisle, right in front of the flight attendant who was just passing by with the drinks cart. Time stopped. Everyone within a 5-row radius went silent. The flight attendant froze, staring at the device lying innocently in the aisle. It was bright pink, and very clearly not a back massager in the traditional sense. My face flushed crimson. I wanted the floor to swallow me whole. I wanted to teleport to another dimension, anything but be in that moment. The flight attendant, to her credit, recovered remarkably quickly. She just blinked a couple of times, picked it up with a slightly raised eyebrow, I noticed, and in a voice that was somehow both professional and laced with suppressed amusement asked, "Ma'am, did you drop something?" I mumbled something about back pain and massager and reached for it with trembling hands, trying to disappear into my seat. She handed it back to me with a knowing smirk and continued on her way, trying very hard not to laugh. I'm pretty sure I heard snickers from the surrounding passengers. For the rest of the flight, I was convinced everyone was staring at me and whispering about the vibrator lady. I stuffed it back in my bag, back pain be damned, and spent the remaining hours in a state of pure, unadulterated shame. I am never, ever, ever bringing that thing on a plane again, or using it as a back massager in public. Lesson painfully learned, and I think I need to invest in a real back massager, preferably one that isn't bright pink and battery operated, seriously considering wearing a disguise for my connecting flight. Oh my gosh, the flight attendant's face must have been priceless. But seriously, we've all had those packing genius moments that backfire spectacularly. What's your most cringe travel story? Share it in the comments, and for more hilarious fails, hit that subscribe button. TIFU by accidentally ordering a mariachi band for my Zoom meeting. Working from home has its perks, but sometimes the lines between home and work get blurry, especially when you're sleep deprived and running on caffeine. This morning was one of those mornings. I had a crucial Zoom meeting with my boss and a potential client scheduled for 9 a.m. sharp. I woke up late, rushed to get ready, and barely had time to grab a coffee before logging in. My brain was still in pre-caffeinated zombie mode. 5 minutes before the meeting, I remembered I needed to order groceries for the week. Multitasking, I thought, patting myself on the back for my efficiency. I quickly opened a grocery delivery app on my phone and started adding items to my cart, all while half listening to the pre-meeting small talk on Zoom. Now here's where the TIFU part kicks in. In my sleep-deprived state, I somehow managed to navigate to the services section of the grocery app. And for reasons I still can't fully comprehend, I accidentally clicked on mariachi band for hire. I vaguely remember seeing a confirmation screen pop up, but my brain just registered it as some kind of app notification, and I mindlessly clicked confirm without actually reading it. I was too focused on finding the right brand of oat milk and trying to look professional on Zoom at the same time. The meeting started and everything was going smoothly. My boss was presenting, the client was engaged, and I was feeling relatively confident, despite my chaotic morning. Then about 15 minutes into the meeting, I heard it, faintly at first, but then growing louder. The unmistakable sound of trumpets and guitars, mariachi music getting closer. I muted my microphone thinking it was just some neighbor's loud music, but the sound kept getting louder and louder until it was practically deafening. My boss and the client both paused mid-sentence, looking around their rooms in confusion. Then my doorbell rang repeatedly, and the mariachi music reached its crescendo right outside my front door. I unmuted myself, my face burning with embarrassment. Sorry about that, I stammered. I think I accidentally ordered a mariachi band. My boss stared at me speechless. The client, to his credit, burst out laughing loudly. My boss eventually joined in, shaking his head and chuckling. Apparently the absurdity of the situation was enough to break the ice and lighten the mood considerably. I had to excuse myself from the meeting to deal with the actual mariachi band at my doorstep. They were very cheerful, very loud, and very confused when I explained I had ordered them by mistake and didn't actually need their services. I still had to pay them a cancellation fee, of course, and explained the whole ridiculous situation to my boss and the client when I rejoined the Zoom call. The client thought it was hilarious and said it was the most memorable Zoom meeting he'd ever had. My boss, while amused, also suggested I maybe lay off the multitasking during important meetings in the future. So yeah, I accidentally ordered a mariachi band for my Zoom meeting. Definitely the most embarrassing and surreal work from home moment of my life. On the bright side, I got a good story out of it and maybe some brownie points with the client for the unintentional entertainment. And I definitely learned my lesson about paying attention to what I'm clicking on, especially before my morning coffee kicks in. Accidentally ordering a mariachi band, that is peak work from home chaos. The client laughing is the best possible outcome. Like and subscribe for more hilarious stories. Have a great day and see you in the next video.